All right, we're here for our 6-week program on advisor mastery, getting your advisor practice to be much, much bigger, adding 25 clients in the next 6 weeks. And one of the ways to do this with online marketing. And online marketing really covers a lot of things. For one thing, I'll cover a little bit here and kind of a general understanding. And for some of you guys, this is really straightforward and you know about this. For some of you, it's going to be complete review. And for some of you, it's going to be brand new. But when you think about online marketing, what you want to think about is at the very bottom level is going to be your website. And the reason it's at the bottom, the reason this is so important is kind of holding everything up is, 15, 20 years ago, what mattered was maybe where your office was, or maybe what you did, where you were in the yellow pages, or maybe who you knew or what organizations you were with. But now what we know is that any online marketing you do or any offline marketing you do, well, any offline marketing or online marketing you do, let's say you did Facebook marketing or LinkedIn marketing. Well, some percentage of that, in Facebook's case, 42%. And in LinkedIn case, it varies a little bit, but it's something around that. 42% of the Facebook marketing is going to abandon the Facebook ad, abandon their whatever they were doing on Facebook, and then go around and search you on Google, search you on a search engine to find your website. And offline marketing, let's say you were doing an event or you were doing direct mail to get people to come to an event, doing some sort of outreach marketing, working with a company to talk to their employees, whatever. Any kind of offline marketing, handing out flyers, whatever you were doing, 80% of those people are going to abandon that or leave it in some way and then search you online. So if we don't start with our website, if we don't start with the content, and this is also related to content that we have online, if we don't start with that, we're going to be fighting a losing battle. We'll spend a lot more money on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, AdWords, whatever marketing tool we use online, and we'll spend a lot more effort offline because all that effort that we'll use in those kind of areas is going to get thrown away. All that effort's going to get used and tossed to the side because we won't be, it'll work, but then they'll find somebody else. They'll find the other person that's going to show up online better than you. So let's talk about what that means. And let's look at a couple sample websites. And I just randomly picked, I did a screen. I'm in Chandler, Arizona, sitting in Chandler, Arizona right now. And I did a random screenshot, or not screenshot, but a random search of financial advisors near me. I can reload this just so you see it's live. Here's some Google Screen People, which is a feature that Google offers if you pay for advertising with Google. So this upper part that says sponsored, if you want to get familiar with the Google search, there's going to be 3 main areas in Google search. The 3 main areas are think about it kind of split into thirds. And I'm leaving this over on the side on purpose off. But this third here is your ad space. This third here is going to be your map space. And this third here is your organic. So this is the free part. This is also free, but it's based on your physical location. And then this is what you pay for. So these areas here are what are paid for. You can tell because it says sponsored. So these are paid. This is paid advertising. And this is integrated. This has something to do with your map because this says location, and this has to do with your location, but you get more coverage here if you have more reviews and content. Okay, so so we don't have to look at my writing so much, I'll show you here a little bit more directly. So here's that map section. And there's no sponsored links in here, but you can see that how these are listed. Wealth Nest has 40 reviews and they're listed on top. Now, even though I'm physically here, you can see my spot there. And this happens to be the closest. But if these guys had more reviews than these guys, they would be listed up here probably. Google's algorithm for this is determined based on location and many other factors, and I'll explain that in a second. So this area here, it's called the Google 3-pack, because generally there's 1, 2, 3 different businesses that are listed there on a normal search listing. So we're gonna look at these in a second. This people also ask, some searches will pull this up, some won't, but these are questions that get that Google finds are commonly asked questions with related searches to this. So for example, what's the average cost? Here it is. And then this gives them a link to this. Now, in a perfect world, you're going to be one of these links down here. If your website worked really, really well, it's pretty hard in this space to get enough visibility so that you'd be competing with Forbes or Bankrate or US News to get to be one of the answerers for one of these questions. So that's probably not going to be we're probably not going to get you in one of those spaces if you're an individual advisor. What we can get you in is one of these spaces. Now, what we can see is there's not really many individual advisors in any of these spaces. That, believe it or not, is pretty easy to overcome. You can get in one of these spaces, but most people don't even try, and they're not doing a very good job in getting their website ranked very well in any listing. So I'll show you some reasons why. So let's go up to pick one of these. I'm just going to pick one of them. I'll randomly pick Wealth Nest. And let's take a look at their website and do a little bit of review for it. Now, this is we're looking at this on a desktop with a pretty large screen. I just expanded it. And this is designed, first problem here, and I'll go through some different problems. This is designed really only for a mobile device. Now, it's important to design your website for mobile. 80% of searches are mobile. So the most important devices to design for are for phones, because that's where most searches are from. This one, however, is designed only for phones. You can tell that because it's got this, what they call the hamburger, because there's 3 lines, sort of looks like a hamburger, up in the top right corner. And if we click on this, and I'm looking at this fresh, so I'm doing random looks at these just for our webinar today. It allows you to look at these kind of different things. Now, this is great, or, well, I'll tell you what's great about it and what isn't, if it was a mobile device. But what are you getting from this if you're a prospective person that did a search on looking for financial advisors near you? Is your problem that you need to be simpler? You need your life simpler? Is that the biggest and most important thing that you require? Do you want to be able to retire sooner? Do you want to be able to make more money from your investments? Do you need to understand the complexities of investing? Maybe that's what Simplify goes for. This is a pretty weak headline. Now, this is probably related to what they feel their best values are, or best use is. However, the biggest problem here is if I land here and maybe Wealth Nest is a company that I was referred to, maybe I found them because they sound good. Well, what am I going to do? I could click this. That's not a normal thing for a desktop device, would be on a phone. There's not really a response mechanism. I mean, I can do research here. This is more like what people would think of as what is an incorrect way to build a website, which is essentially what's called an online brochure. That's not what you want. What you want is to think of a website as a tool so that when somebody finds you, which is your website, that it does the best job possible to set an appointment or to get you information so that you can set an appointment. So that's what you want. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you get a phone call from it, or you get somebody filling out a form and giving you information. And many websites, this one didn't, I'm going to look at a couple more, will ask you for an appointment right away. But that only works if they're already ready to meet with you, and they may not be yet. I kind of compare that to it's like they want to marry, you're asking them to marry you and you haven't even gone on a date yet. So you need to have something that's interesting to them. We could call it a lead magnet in marketing terms, but something that's interesting to them, like a report that might be relevant to them, might be relevant to the search that they did to get to your website, might be relevant to your target market and your niche. A report or some information that for them to get that, they provide their name, email, phone number. And if they're ready to do business with you, you do want to have some way for them to set an appointment and or call you. How are we going to call this company? How would we know what their phone number is? I clicked on this, couldn't find out. Well, gee, I guess they don't have a phone number. Doesn't sound like a reputable company to me. But probably down here, we're going to find a phone number. No phone number yet. No phone number yet. And no phone number. So all the way through here, there's no phone number. Now, maybe they don't want to have people call for some reason, but if I was them, I'd have a phone number at least so that somebody could leave a voicemail and it could be picked up electronically and emailed somewhere so that somebody could call them back. Let's see if there's somewhere, well, it's client login. Let's see if, by the way, this is also very slow and they're doing their client login to their broker dealer. So it doesn't look like I'm on their site. This doesn't look congruent with that main landing page. Now this one looks more like what we see sometimes where it'll say get started. And I'm assuming, see, this is asking me to talk about their goals, but I don't even know if this is not giving me anything. It's not giving me a report or who they were about. The only way this would work is if I already want to do business with you. Yep. And again, if I'm ready to call somebody and set an appointment, nothing there. Now, somebody might make the case, well, people don't want to call. They want to, schedule something online. Great. There's no way to schedule something online. Yeah, it's just ask for information and what they're going to do, and then hopefully you to call back. It doesn't even say we're going to call you back within 24 hours. We're going to call you back right away. Fill this out, and when we call you back, we'll also immediately send you an information package that talks about our company, something that would be exciting to call people back about. And let's see what happens when we look at one of these guys. Let's see what Kevin Foster talks about. Well, there's his experience. I don't know how Baskin Robbins' first job really makes me excited about working with him. Any of this might be okay. Not really that excited. Okay, so there's nothing here that really gets me excited about working with these guys. Let's look at one of these other sites. So Andrew Hickman, financial advisor. He got in second position in the map. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. And for some of you, I might be reviewing these sites and you might think, gee, this looks a lot like my site. Well, sorry about that, if it does. And sorry about that if your company builds you websites like this. We can certainly help give you some advice on how to, refer you to some companies that'll build compliance appropriate sites that'll work really well for you. But let's take a look at this one. And it's totally okay to have one separate from your company that will do lead generation. Okay, so based on what we said here, what would you find out? Well, there is a phone number. Now, what I will tell you is when I click on this, one big error with website design would be that it doesn't look like it's a clickable phone number. I tried clicking on that a couple times. Um, Yep, it doesn't look like that when you click on that, it does dial the phone number. Many phones will pick those phone numbers up and will dial the number, but this one doesn't seem to be one of those. That's kind of a cardinal sin of website design. Another sin that you should watch out for is live email addresses. See how this is his email address? It's understandable that people would put email addresses on your website. Of course, you need them to be able to email you, right? What this needs to be is like a contact us button so that you can click on it, fill out a form to contact them. Live email addresses invite hacking. Bots on the web will scan all of your websites. And when they see something in this format, which is obviously an email address, that's how they pick up your email and start a hacking program against you. So this is something most modern website designers won't do, is put an email address live on a website. Okay, other thing, what'd you notice? Well, no phone number. Oh, I'm sorry, there is a phone number. So, but the phone number is not obvious and up on top. That's where it should live. Okay. And let's see what else we got here. So nothing really here. This lets you request a consultation. But there's no real offer here. There's nothing that, why don't I get some information on whatever his specialties are, which are kind of hard to tell. Looks like he's doing some videos. I think this is him. Not quite sure. If that's him, then that's good. But this does look like one that's done by Ameriprise, and he's just a user on it, which may be all he can do. But this is a pretty low content website. So let's talk about that. The other thing that you want to have is for your website is lots and lots of content about you and your expertise and your niche. I can't tell what Andrew's niche is. Let's see what Allen Financial is doing here. Looks like that's the exact same website, except it doesn't have a header. Still doesn't have a clickable link. Still has email address live. Again, request consultation. But these are all going to be fine if they know you. So this is great if Allen Financial Advisory Team is a well-known commodity and they're doing a lot of grassroots marketing, beating the streets and sending people to their website. Sure, this will work. People will find you and they'll go there. But if you're trying to get people to find you because of online marketing you do, and remember what percentage of people abandon your website to get to this place. A lot. If you're doing LinkedIn or Facebook advertising, nearly half of the people that find you will abandon that ad and then look you up. When they look you up, they're going to find other people. In this case, it's going to be some people. Let's look at what Yelp says. Even though Yelp is not good to advertise on, you do need to put all your content on these on this site because it will show up. So maybe they go to these guys, or maybe they go to these guys, which are probably not the best people to go to if they're not you, if you're not the one listening to it. Okay, let's look at Decision Point Financial because they're spending some money to be online. And here is their website. Let's take a look at them and see. We'll slam them if it's not you that's listening. No, I was waiting for this to load, but this is a very bad color scheme. It's very hard to read. Let's look at what this looks like, probably on mobile. Where's the phone number? Where's the phone number? That's something you should be asking. There's no offer. And you can see some Q&A, but what else? Most of these are going to be, most of this type of thing, again, is going to work if they already know you. If they don't know you, then you won't get very much traction. See how light this is against this? Most people won't be able to read that. If your target market is 20-year-olds, it might be okay because they don't need glasses. But other people may have a problem. Maybe these guys' market is 20-year-olds. I don't know. I don't know if that's that profitable. Okay, so here's a few different examples, and we've got Mindy here. Nice to see you, Mindy.
Yeah. Hey.
And we reviewed a few websites here so far, but this is this is a pretty poor design. No offer. That's a few things we look at. The other piece here is everything that we've seen so far has almost no content in it. This is an independent website, and yet there's no blog, no video, no photo gallery. You know, that's not that important in this industry. Very, very little bits of information. So if somebody does a search on financial advisors and whatever their niche is, they won't get found. Let's go back and look at our financial advisor near me search. So these guys are spending quite a bit of money to have this position. That's why it says sponsored. Let's take a look at them. This is Edelman Financial Engines.
That's a different name than we usually see.
Yeah. Now, these guys are doing a couple things right. So get your free guide. Complete this form for instant download. Now, what would I see on this that's a problem? I don't know what the guide's about. Get started by downloading a free guide to helping protect and grow your wealth. Now, I kind of know here, down here, when they're showing it in this position. But if we look up here where the actual form is, it doesn't really say what. It doesn't really say what the guide is for. If we shrink this down to what probably is mobile, you have to scroll all the way down here to find out about their guide. Not very good. So this is a good start, but it would be it'd be much better if they said what the guide was for, but it's better than most. Now it says here, connect with the planner. That at least gets us partway there. If it was me, I wouldn't have these forms work this way. Are you currently working with a financial planner? That'd be the last question I ask. Because if the answer's no, then all this stuff would be after I get the name, phone, and email. Because you still want to talk to them, even if they manage their own investments and whether they're retired, when they'd like to retire, all these other things. See, now they're asking for my name and phone number. That's the opposite order. We should start with this, and then later they're going to ask us for a name and phone number. You should start with that stuff and then start asking the other questions. Because if somebody says, I don't want to tell you about who's handling my investments, I don't want to tell you about this stuff, you're taking the risk that they abandon this process rather than giving you their name, phone, and email. If you decide later you don't want to talk to them if they don't fill out the other stuff first, that's fine. And that may be why somebody decided to do it this way. Let me repeat what I just said. If you've got a lot of criteria that you want to make sure your leads have qualified with, they're retired or they're not retired, they're over 55, they've got at least $500,000 investable assets. You have all these things that you want for all your clients. You don't even want to talk to them unless they have that. It still is in your best interest to get the information from them first and then qualify them later, rather than qualify them first and get the information later. If I qualify and then info versus info and then qualify, What I'll do is I'll get some loss here. If I get loss here, some of the loss here will be qualified people that just don't want to bother filling the form out. If I get, I'm going to get some loss here. So let's say I get 50% loss. Out of this 50% loss, you don't know which ones of those were qualified and which ones of those just abandoned the page. If I get 50% loss here, well, you would have still got you still would have got this 50% loss because people didn't want to fill out their information here, right? It's the same amount of people wouldn't want to fill info out, their name, phone, and email, that wouldn't want to fill out. These would be the same. But people that are reticent to give you some of their financial information, these two are the same. I'd rather have, I'm still not going to get their information at this point, but I'd rather have that barrier crossed because I'd rather have the qualified 100% of the people that are willing to give this their information here that are qualified. If I do it this way, I'm getting 50% of the people that are willing to give the information and some lesser percentage of the qualified people. So this number here is going to be higher. So I don't know if that math works out in your head, but the math's going to work out that I'll get more qualified people in this process. We can go through some other examples if that doesn't make sense, or you can call us and we can explain that more if we don't want to work the math out. But you always want to do your qualification after you get the simpler information. Okay, so this is something they need to fix. But this is much better that they have, at least in this place, they say it's a complimentary financial windfall guide. I probably wouldn't call something that's still a little bit confusing. They do have a phone number on that page though, which is great. Plan EFE. So that's good. This, however, is their landing page. I would want that phone number on this page. Okay, let's go back to our search. Financial advisor to me. So we found a lot of things that were different. The second, or that we need to improve. So one of the things was have a good response mechanism, meaning there needs to be some sort of lead magnet or reason for them to fill out the form on the page. There still should be a way to set an appointment, and there still should be a way to call you for more information, but there needs to be a way for them to get some information without already committing to talking to you. So you have multiple ways for them to respond to you on your website. That's one thing. The next things, which we didn't see in any of these websites, was a way to add additional content. And if we remember from our pyramid, and we had a website at the bottom, and then all of our other marketing gets added up and layered on top of the website. In 2023 or 2024, when you hear this, that's how marketing works today. All of your marketing gets layered on top of your website because offline looks you up and online looks you up. This website, if it doesn't have content, imagine this website's really small. It's only this big. If it doesn't have much content on it, it's only got a few pages, and it doesn't have much stuff about you, and it doesn't have much stuff about your niche and your information. Well, then the bottom of this pyramid is going to be it's going to be unstable compared to the rest of it. So that's kind of a way to visualize this. What we want to add is more content, more content, more content, more content. And this can be written, or as they say in advertising, copy. It can be, so that's text. It can be video, and it can be photo. So all of this is content that can be added onto your site. So all of these things need to keep getting added. And most of you guys, because you're in this industry, like to talk, and you like to talk about what you do for your clients, and you like to talk about what value you add for your clients. So an easy way to do this is to do videos, kind of like what we're doing now, talk about what you like to do, and talk about what value you have makes you unique. And you can get that transcribed into a written format, and then that can get then posted onto your website. Your video can get posted on your website. And if you guys did that once a month, that would be a good start. Some companies do that every day, but at least once a month, there needs to be content added to your site. Now, sometimes we have people talk about compliance, that they need to get compliance approval for that. You'd be surprised that this is not as hard as you think, especially if you are doing this on a regular basis. You just do your video written and send it in, and compliance can tell you whatever they want about it. Most of the time, compliance departments, when you do this, you think that they're going to be worse than they are. Mindy, you have anything to add on to that? I've been doing the talking till you got back.
No, I think one of the things, and I don't know if you mentioned this while I was away, but I think one of the things, when we're talking about adding content, that we often forget to add, make that content can be around the personality. It can be about who you are. It can be about who your firm is, what your interests are. It can be about how your firm is engaging in the community. Like those are some great ways to add personality to the website, to make it, to make a one-to-one human connection. If you are a runner and running is your thing and you love marathons and you finished a marathon over the weekend, that's your, there's your content. What was it like running that marathon? Who did you meet along the way? How was running a marathon like, planning for your long-term investments? Like all of those things can become really good content that add a little personality. The one website you just showed a moment ago that was literally gray, again, it had no personality. And I think that that's what we see so many times, is you can't tell one website from another, because people, even when they are adding content and doing great things like that, they're not adding anything that makes them unique.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we've talked about this in other sessions, so it's not our main topic today, but a couple things to remember on this. If you're everything to everybody, if you want to be everything to everybody, you're going to be nothing to nobody. We can't be the JCPenney suit guy behind the oak desk, or just plain. We can't be plain. We got to be embracing what our niche is, and then be noticeable within that niche. Otherwise, we're not going to be noticeable at all. And this whole business is about being noticeable. If you're the same as everybody else, and you're the letters behind your name and what certifications you have, and Series 7 and everything else you got, all these qualifications that you think you have, especially in this industry, because there's so many that are similar, and a lot of them are almost meaningless to get. And many of the people that we work with have very sophisticated certifications and very specialized ones that are very important, but there's equivalent ones that don't require hardly any work, and they sound almost the same. So there's, what do we think, it's 71 different certifications in the financial industry last time. Maybe there's more than that. We just surveyed that from FINRA.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming, and your clients don't know the difference. They don't know the difference, and you can't compete on, I've got these letters behind my name and the other guys don't. For the most part, it's not that significant of a difference. What's significant of a difference is that you're the person that is the specialist for doctors. And we got Brian on the call here too, and that's something we haven't talked a lot about, is online marketing. So Brian, you can, if we want to specialize on yours today too, that's fine. But you want to be the person for whoever you're talking about. If you want to be, I remember we were talking a little while ago about the show Ballers, which is a pretty good show. The backstory of that is that they were financial advisors to high profile athletes. And one of the reasons that they were is because one of the guys was an athlete. That's what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was playing. And he is a former professional athlete. And then he was in real life. I don't think Dwayne was. Well, I guess wrestler may count. I don't know if that counts, but the idea was he understood where they were coming from. And the other guy that worked with him he was as far from an athlete as could possibly be, but he also understood where they were coming from because he understood what the nuances of their financial situation were. And so for all of you, when you build your website, it's got to reflect that too. Or when we advise you on building your website, because that's certainly something we can do. And work with you on how to make your personality match the people that you're trying to reach out to. The lead magnet then can be something specific to that. So, the seven biggest things that keep doctors up at night about their finances, or fill in the blank, or contractors up at night about their finances. Seven things that kill your contractor business. And those are really critical things so that that you're speaking to them and speaking to their needs, not just, hey, I'm really important, I'm really good, so come work with me. You're on mute there, Mindy. You were talking.
I muted while I coughed. Sorry about that. Hey, I've got that website up of the group from Texas that we've talked about before. It actually shows a little more personality. You know exactly who their niche is.
That.
Yeah, I feel like you can have some input on that. Let me grab. Here we go.
Yeah, so there's some good and bad things in this one. One of the good things is that that they're very specific to University of Texas alumni. So they're very clear about it. UT alumni and employees, they're the people for UT alumni and employees. They're not confused about it. It's part of their name. It's the color scheme. Burnt orange is the color for the University of Texas. If you've ever been around them playing football, or know anybody who's looked at their watched them at a game, it's that color. It's like a strange color, and they're embracing that color like crazy. So this is a big deal. The other thing, up at the top of their website, they do have their phone number. We don't recommend, again, their email address. They shouldn't have that there. They did pull this website design from like a very plain WordPress website template, so I can recognize that really well. One of the reasons I'm doing this today is because I spend a lot of my time helping another website design company with some things. So I've had a lot of time working with this type of stuff. But yeah, the email address is not shouldn't be on the top there. But other than that, this is, from personality point of view, Mindy, you're exactly right. This is representing it really well. I would like to see some sort of offer on the front, though, right next to those Longhorns.
Yep.
Something that would say something specific to Longhorn, specific things that how they're going to help Longhorn employees, family, and friends.
Yeah.
You're trying to reach out a little bit to friends there too. But
right. Well, this one is iconic, obviously for anybody who's an alumni or an employee, because these are sites around the campus, so that they are going to recognize and know from the University of Texas.
Well, a little bit. Go back up there. See, now the only thing I'd say about that is, stay on go up a little bit. So design, develop, defend, and distribute. They're trying to have the alliteration there with the 4 words. I'm not sure that matches what they're doing there.
No,
I think they'd be better off being, in that particular case, I think they'd be better off with with something a little bit more specific to those categories. And that may be a little off track for what they're trying to meet, because retirement income and legacy planning, I don't know that Capitol building is perfect, or the mean looking black bull is the perfect one, and so on. So I think, yes, we want to be having the personality there, but maybe no on randomly. So this design isn't so good, randomly overdoing it. So personality, yes. Design, probably no. I wouldn't just use random things there, unless, somehow retirement planning had something to do with that capital that everybody, if they're a Longhorn, would know about.
Yeah.
This down here, this is kind of like a mission statement.
Yeah.
If they're gonna, I would build this out. So this is the right direction as far as personality, but I'd build this out more so that each of these little pieces would, why is it different for University of Texas alumni? Why do they have some special needs that other people don't? And the answer may be, in reality, they don't, but I'd want to come up with some reasons. University of Texas alumni, my guess is, probably have a higher earned income than the general population. That's probably true of any university, but I bet you that University of Texas alumni do. They probably, there's probably some stats like that they have higher, they have more doctors than any other. They have a really big medical school. They may have more doctors than the top 10 of medical schools. There may be some things in there that are some reasons why these guys are important people to be your specialists, not just because they like University of Texas football.
Right.
I think so. So I think everything you're saying is exactly right. And if people can look at what the, sorry, my computer went a little nuts there. But if everybody can look at this as a starting point and then start thinking about how you're different in reality for that group, not just, I like that group. For example, we had one of our clients was working, loves Star Wars. Like, he wanted to work with everybody, but he was like a Star Wars fanatic. Well, there's people that love Star Wars that have money. And you could be the guy that works with people that love Star Wars that have money. But why would that be different? And what would you be different working, with that group? Well, there might be some things. There might be some things that they focus on, or at least places that they congregate. And there may be some unique things about that demographic that we might not think about on this call. And that would be what he would be working on, so that it would make some sense for him to work with that group, that he would be a specialist with that group. We get a lot of people that want to work with like doctors and lawyers, just because that's the first thing that comes to their mind. Brian, who's on this call, his wife is a medical professional, so that makes some sense. There's some reason. It doesn't have to be a field that you are in that field. We have some people that work with chiropractors. They're not chiropractors. People think they're chiropractors because they work with chiropractors so much, but you don't have to be in that field. You just have to understand what their unique needs are. And I think for like the Texas Longhorn guy, we just found his site. We don't work with him. For the Texas Longhorn guy, I would advise him to find out, well, what is actually different about those people? I went to Arizona State University. I already know they're weirdly enough, people don't know this about ASU, they're the largest university in the country. They're the number one highest placed university for jobs. So if you get a degree there, they get more people in jobs than percentage wise than any other university in the country. That's kind of weird. I wouldn't have thought that, being the largest ones too. So there's a few pieces of that are that might be important in their financial planning, getting people, if they're trying to hit the early entry market into jobs, or if they're trying to hit the retired people. What are the statistics about the retired people that we'd want to know? And those would all be part of the website. Might influence what kind of lead magnet we would have on the website. Let's look at a couple other ones and do a random search. So let's do financial advisor, maybe Washington, DC. And let's look at a couple more and see if we see anybody that's doing it. Let's just see if we can find anybody that's doing an overall good job. This may be pretty hard. So here's Washington, DC. These guys say that they're business advisors for startups and small businesses. So they actually are having a niche. Well, this isn't horrible. They're wanting me to do a cookie check here. This isn't horrible because depending on what they're trying to accomplish, they're trying to be an advisor as a CFO. So they have a different objective. They're trying to be CFO consultants. So that's probably not the same as what we're looking for. Okay, here's a wealth management firm. I think we've looked at this one before. This might be on our one of the things that we put together is a kind of do-it-yourself from A to Z marketing program. And one of the things that we put together in that, we looked at quite a few websites. I think this is one of the ones that we put together there. And this is one of the sites that we looked at. So it says boutique family office, but it doesn't really say anything about why that matters or why we would care about that. What else do we see here from what we've reviewed before? No phone number. They've got to contact us, but if we went here, now there's a phone number. I don't want to make people add another link or add another click to get to the page. Okay, that's one problem. Let's go back to this. Well, now we go back to it and it goes to a different page. That's not very good design either.
Oh, that kind of hurts my eyes.
Yeah, do you see how that happened? So this is where it lands when you go to when you do a web search on it and what they're paying people. Well, they're paying Google to send people here. But then when they go to their main landing page, it goes to this. And then again, it's trying to get people to set an appointment immediately. What reason would I have to set an appointment from this landing page? What possible reason would I have? There's nothing here that says anything about why. It's a family office and private wealth. And now again, if I already knew these guys and I was just going to their website because I knew them, maybe I would set an appointment. They have a lot of assets under management. They're Barron's #9 top advisory firm. Of course, that's all below the screen. We call that below the fold. If I was looking on a mobile device, I might notice they've got a lot of assets under management. If I had a big mobile phone, I might notice they were Barron's top advisory firm. Doesn't really mean much though. That I'm going to set an appointment. I don't know how this speaks to me. I don't know how this means anything about my personal situation. So it doesn't have anything to do with our personal situation. I wonder what Meet the Founder does. That's interesting. You theoretically can schedule a meeting with the founder, although it sounds like the founder is one of these 8 people. So that's a little bit confusing. Yeah. So here's another one for Washington, D.C. Let's just pick somebody here again, financial planners. I would encourage everybody, this isn't our topic for today, but we can add this onto the topic. Your Google business profile is really important. Your Google business profile means is what your listing is with Google Maps, and it's going to show up in this, what we talked about before, this Google 3-pack here. So if you notice this middle part below, this is your ads, and then this is your organic or free. listings. Has to do with your website content down below. But this Google map area, why are these guys up there? Well, they have a lot more reviews, 23 reviews. These guys have no reviews, 1 review. That's one of the reasons they're up there. Let's maybe spend a little bit of time talking about that. We click on more business, we're going to see all the different ones that are up there. Now this one's here because he paid. This one's here. Let's click on it. One is he's got a bunch of reviews. The other is he's populated it with many different photos. So there's more content on the Google business profile. What we want is to have a lot of content on your Google business profile. Now, photos are great. What we want is preferably photos that also have your name, address, phone number, and website address on them. And some of the companies we work with will populate and do graphic pieces to do that. You can do that too. It's not that hard, but these are ones, a lot of times people outsource that, but more content on your profile will get you a higher ranking. Other thing would be fill out, assuming you own this, if you own it or somebody's working on this for you, make sure there's all this content filled out. You can set up a booking link on your Google business profile. You can set up lots and lots of services of what you do. Look at all the ones he's got here. If we compare that to, let's compare it to somebody that's listed way below here, Geometric Wealth Advisors. See, this person, he or she doesn't have many things here. There weren't as many pieces. There's no reviews. They did say they have a wheelchair accessible restroom and a restroom. That's about it. There's not much here that says anything good. There's only there's only 1 photo actually. That photo might not even be from that person. It may be from Google. Google will post some photos that it posts from its Google Maps project. So let's look at this one that's better. Services, they've got a whole list of services. Look at all and all you got to do is go into your Google business profile and check those boxes for the services that you provide. Now, it doesn't mean you should check services you don't provide. You shouldn't check your shoe sales if you aren't doing shoe sales. But all the ones that you possibly do, you check them, then you're going to be more noticeable by Google. Here's his reviews. Another key piece with Google business profile is making sure you respond to all your reviews. Might be important to talk about that a little bit. Mindy, you can chip in here. We have 2 kinds of reviews you can respond to. One is a review that's positive, another is a review that's negative. So positive reviews, sometimes their responders do poorly. They're just like in this case, he just responded with a check mark. You are most welcome. Thanks for allowing us a chance to help. Put a pretty verbose response in. Something like, thank you so much. We really appreciate everything that you do for you. We really appreciate you as a client. We look forward to working with you for many years in the future. Something longer would be better in the review. And if you can include keywords. So if you specialize in working with plumbers, we love working with people like you and all the people in the National Plumbing Association. Something like that. Or the Longhorn guy. Go Longhorns. And we love, we appreciate that you like working with the University of Texas. Go Longhorns. That would be a really cool thing to put in your reviews because now there's one of those keywords in it. Negative reviews. So we can talk about negative reviews. A lot of times people don't want to, hopefully you don't get any negative reviews, but it's okay to get some negative reviews. You won't get them removed by Google, even if it was your, most hated evil competitor, somebody that worked with you and you guys had a big fight and they opened another wealth management service across the street and you don't like them and they don't like you and they wrote a really bad review about you. You're not going to get that taken off by Google. It would be almost impossible to have that happen because Google doesn't know whether or not you're telling the truth about that being a competitor or not. Google, how would they know? They're, not going to pay attention to us really small individual people. They're going to ignore you. So what you need to do is respond to all reviews. And perhaps the review said something that you didn't like, whatever. You still want to take the high road on reviews. That might sound something like this. We're really sorry for any miscommunication. We want to make sure every one of our clients is 100% taken care of. Please give us a call at our phone number and we'll absolutely make it right. Now, here's the thing. Google reviews aren't like a chat thing. They're not like Twitter, where you respond and then they get to respond and then you respond and it starts a flame war. You responding to that is the end of it. If somebody reads a review, then it sounds like you, even though it was your hated enemy and you want to tell them to get lost and swear at them and be as mean as possible, your response to them is going to look like you absolutely, really are sad about the miscommunication and you want to respond positively moving forward. So, and you'll help and you'll take care of everything that they said. So always respond to reviews, positive or negative, and that's the way you respond to negative reviews. Other things here, you can put in updates. Updates are, and this guy did a very good job of putting in updates. November 9th, so it's very recent. So he's putting in updates. Updates would be postings about classes that you're doing, webinars you're doing, things that are happening in the industry. Oh, this is one. I didn't even see this one 4 days ago. So that's one reason this guy's up here really well. Very nice job. He's putting, and you can pull these pictures off the internet. There's totally free ones. And then you put a list of, a class that you're doing or a webinar you're doing. That'd be something that we would work with you on one of our other classes in this 6-week program here. So that's a little bit about Google Business Profile. Now, sharing this share link, this is sharing this link, your Google Business Profile link. This is something you want to share. You can see how this click to copy link, you can click on this link. I can share just this business profile out to my clients and then ask them for a review. You absolutely should be liberal about asking for reviews. These don't have to go through compliance because, of course, nobody has control over your clients giving you reviews. So this isn't you saying anything. This is your client saying whatever they want to say. And your compliance department doesn't have any control over what is posted on Google. So, for example, we'll look at his reviews and very friendly and professional, very happy with his service. I mean, nobody said that he made them $1 billion or anything. So none of these would be a problem with compliance anyway. But nevertheless, these would be, it doesn't matter what they would say. It's not anything that you would have to worry about with compliance. So you can ask for reviews. You can just send this link and ask them for a review, and that typically wouldn't be any problem. Okay. Or at least have it available for them, depending on if your office is really strict about those kind of things. Okay. Let's see. I think I probably covered everything. Oh, inside your Google Business Profile, there's also Q&A. It doesn't always show up on Google Business Profile unless it's populated, but you can ask and answer questions. So, of course, those would need to be probably reviewed by your compliance department. But you can, ask questions, what hours you open, although hours are always in here. That's probably a bad example. You can answer different things about your practice. What do you specialize in? Here's what I specialize in. What are your what licenses do you have and things like that. Anything you want that you think will be marketing positive, you can answer questions on. Anything I missed there, Mindy?
No, you did a really good job covering all of that.
Okay, so Google Business Profile is something for all of you. You need to make sure is updated. Google Business Profile is really critical. Okay, so we covered a lot of things today, and we will get to wrap up here. Yeah. Your website, have a lead magnet, have something that people want to respond to, so they don't have to marry you before they go on a date. They get to respond to you a little bit, if they're interested, if they're ready to contact you, ready to set an appointment, there should be a way for them to set an appointment right there and or call you. All those things should be obvious when you land on their page. In fact, let's check out Mana Wealth Management, these guys that we just talked about. Well, they have a phone number, free consultation. Oh, they would have really won if they had a would have won the whole award today if they had some sort of thing for you to get information on. They do have a fact, so they can't add some more stuff. They don't have a blog though. That would be much better. So you want to have content, availability to put content on your website. Now we haven't covered anything today about other online marketing. That'll be for one of our other calls. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of other things you can do. Whether that's all the way from having a YouTube channel to having advertising on AdWords, LinkedIn, Facebook, and many other sources. And we can help you with all of that. And that'll be at one of our other calls. Today, we were focused on our website and this main landing page, not landing page, but the main issue of Google search. How do you get in this upper part? That's going to be AdWords. How do you do better with this middle part, which is your Google business profile? And then how do you set your website up with more content, more things that so that you get found better? And then when they land on your website, how do you make it more distinctive for your niche market, like the Longhorn guy, but even better? And then how do you get it to convert so that people, when they land there, will give you their name, phone, email, so you can respond, set up appointments, or so they can set up appointments directly with you. So those are the main things that we covered today. Anything else to add, Mindy, before we wrap up?
No, I think that's a really great thing. I mean, and this is when you'll want to kind of be able to hang on to and revisit.
All right, guys. So thanks a lot, everybody. We really appreciate it. I think we covered everything today that we wanted to. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. For those of you seeing this live, we won't be having one next week. But for those of you on the recording, of course, we'll send you the next recording.